Hello indie game fans, here are more upcoming indie games to watch, beginning with Lone Fungus 2, a pixel art Metroidvania that is the sequel to a game from 2023 which was alright, with greatly improved pixel art and inspiration that draws more upon Symphony of the Night as compared to Hollow Knight in the original. The Mushroom Metroidvania had an interesting focus on platforming over combat in the first game and appears to be reversed here, and hey, I'm a sucker for games like this, so check it out on Kickstarter. I came across this next game and have to share it since it sure looks interesting, and get this, Aikyam is a Bollywood-inspired fantasy RPG of all things, complete with turn-based combat with active elements Mario RPG style.
Chaos
Reigns supreme after the co-mayors of the village simultaneously disappear, leading to demons taking advantage of the situation to steal the celestial glue. However, while there's this central thread, the game does look rather light-hearted since you're pulling off Bollywood dance moves and speaks of quests of kindness that will ripple throughout the village, so it's that kind of cozy game, not to mention the chibi-looking characters that can stack on top of each other, world of Final Fantasy style, and looks delightful. This video is brought to you by Codename Ocean Keeper, an underwater action roguelike title in which you need to locate mines, extract resources, and upgrade your mech in order to fight off waves of enemies. There is a duality in this game that alternates between mining and combat, where in the former, you are digging out blocks one by one until you find resource blocks, mining those out, then attaching ropes to them to lug them back out. But the weight of each resource adds to the complexity, and you can also find powerful relics and artifacts which allow for free upgrades to the mech. The all-action combat is a highlight as well, since you will get swarmed by enemies and projectiles on all sides, even having boss battles, and being a roguelite, if you do die and lose the run, you can start over with procedural generation of the mines to keep things fresh, and also has a hub area with meta progression elements like permanent upgrades. This is from a 10-person team out of Ukraine, which is impressive given the circumstances, so support them by wishlisting the game and check out their demo during the upcoming Steam Mix Festival in June.
Heed my prophecy, O Seeker of Destiny.
I was perhaps as surprised as you to see Kingdom 2 Crowns Call of Olympus being announced, since this is yet another DLC to the gorgeous pixel art side-scrolling action strategy game which released in 2018, following a Japanese-themed one and a Norse mythology-themed DLC, where this, of course, turns to Greek mythology, so I'm fully expecting an Egyptian-themed one to complete the trilogy. There will be creatures and monsters based on Greek legends and myths, even being able to seek the favour of the gods, as well as to battle a threat to Mount Olympus, with the history of these DLC being good, so I'm expecting this will be as well. This next title has been very long in development, where in searching for the trailer on YouTube for RAWMEN Food Fighter Arena, there was one that pointed towards a 2022 release window, so we are finally getting there in 2024. It's a multiplayer arena shooter that sees you harnessing the power of soup, either to increase your movement speed or to splash onto your enemies, and due to the long development time, sure looks like it's from another era, since this, of course, looks very Splatoon inspired. The good news is that this will be free to play, so it has a shot of getting an audience, but the bad news, I guess, is that this will be an Epic Games Store exclusive. We have not seen that many games take that deal recently, so it's interesting from a business perspective, where I'm fairly sure that the sentiment around the store is still negative 6 years after it launched, so let me know in the comments below if you still actively use that. Okay, so this one will be an atypical entry on this channel, since A Date with Death Beyond the Bet is a visual novel dating sim that isn't even a full game but a paid DLC, where I last covered the base game in my video on the best free, overwhelmingly positive games on Steam, with the developers taking to Kickstarter and have absolutely crushed it, raising $147,000 as of recording off an $18,000 target. This will add days 6 through 10 to the game, which goes even deeper into exploring the Grim Reaper as a character, and people have really connected with their writing, hence the result, showing that there are so many ways to win as an indie developer. This next title also pretty much blew up right out of the gate, being fully funded in just 4 hours to the tune of $62,000 and is currently sitting at $140,000 with plenty of time to go, in which Margin of the Strange is the next game from the developers of One Shot, a puzzle adventure game that kind of occupies the same space as Undertale in terms of fandom, showing how community and a trust in the developer can lead to results like this. Similarly, this is an adventure game but with elements of exploration and mystery, and is also centered around gardening, in which our hero, over the course of 6 weeks, must unravel the mysteries of the world and those which surround his own life and death. You have to, for example, grow plants to reverse entropy, which is interesting, and can also make friends, stare at lamps, drink sugar water and befriend moths, which is a central element in the game, looking very interesting in that adventure game kind of way, although do note that this has a targeted release in 2027, which seems so far out. Holy crap man, when I saw this title on Kickstarter, I was blown away by how much it had raised so far, amounting to $423,000 with plenty of time to go, and looking into the details, the Wayward Realms is headed up by Ted Peterson and Julian LeFay, the lead developers who made the original Elder Scrolls, Arena and Daggerfall, so of course, nostalgia hits hard with this one since they are making a spiritual successor to that game. This is an ambitious open-world first-person RPG that basically looks like an Elder Scrolls game with a massive world to explore, meaningful choices to make, real consequences to your actions, and a more classic approach to role-playing with, curiously, no traditional main questline, so I'll be interested to see how it plays out. There are 8 playable character races, no preset classes, and skills that level up the more you use them. So far, so standard, but Kickstarter has been the home of spiritual successors like Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and more recently, Euden Chronicles 100 Heroes, so here's wishing the developer all the best. However, if you're interested in pledging, do note that it is a new studio without external funding, which might or might not come, so it is pretty high risk considering the scope of the game, but whether it be for nostalgia or just making it known that you want a game like this, do check out the campaign page.
Can you truly conquer the darkness? If it returns, night after night, the formidable Wardens of the North, hailed vanquishers of the Dark Wings, feared not. Tirelessly they trained generation after generation, ready for that fateful day when the shadows would reclaim their bloody reign. Alas, we never have as long as we dare hope. As Arlo, son of Eivor, prepare to embark on an epic quest across the vast realms of the Northern Wastes to purge your lands of the darkness once and for all. But you won't defeat Count Kazak and his dreaded Sky Scorchers alone.
The original Tales of Iron from 2021 is an excellent 2D Souls-like title that is basically Game of Thrones meets Ridwall, so of course the sequel Tales of Iron 2 Whiskers of Winter is of interest, and again, in a Game of Thrones kind of way, takes the action to the frozen north, in which you play as heir to the title of Warden of the Wastes, and instead of the Frog Clan, you are battling bats instead. Voice actor Doug Cockle returns, aka Geralt of Rivia, so you know that this is going to be good, with the art and action being on point and looks excellent. A game that was pretty ingenious in concept and immediately blew up in popularity is Kingmakers, a game that answered the question, what if chivalry, medieval warfare, but you have access to modern weapons? This received a new gameplay trailer that shows off the action, in which you're using a motorbike, shotgun, pistol, grenade launcher, and even tank to destroy medieval warriors and even castles and buildings with impressive looking physics and pure chaotic action. I am still curious about the overall structure of the game, of the strategy and sandbox parts of it, and how it all fits together, and I guess we'll know soon since it is supposed to be a 2024 release. Similarly, I'm also happy to share this next game since the pixel art sandbox crafting game Core Keeper has a confirmed 1.0 release date, in which this game has been chugging along in early access and is very good. Not quite on the level of Terraria just yet, but is on its way to becoming one of the most successful indie games of all time. You know the drill by now, gather resources and build out your base, craft better equipment so that you can explore even further with co-op support adding to the appeal. So if you have been waiting, don't, since the price is going to increase after 1.0 and what is here is already awesome and will no doubt get even better over time. Watch this video for the best looking pixel art games.